Mr. Warmington wants to know,
Yes.
in what capacity is the church benefiting if they are not a contributor and NHT was set up to serve contributors?
It is not correct to say the church is not a contributor.
No. Just a minute. Point of order. Correction. Can you provide evidence in this to this meeting that churches have been contributing to housing trust? How church can contribute to housing trust? My brother, hold on. Mr. Miller. How can the church contribute? The church has never contributed a dime. What social security TRN they use?
Mr. Chairman.
No, what TRN they use to make that contribution? They don't.
Mr. Chairman.
Period. No, they don't. Please, Mr. Miller. The issue, you said that you don't know what specific I'm talking about. An announcement was just made last week. The provisions are made for them to get concessional loan from you. And their contributors who have applied to housing trust cannot get loans because they don't have no points. They don't have no points, so they can't get it. So how do you find the points for the church? How do you arrive at that? I don't want you about institution and, umbrella church or Baptist or what have you. I don't, because I'm saying the church can apply for loans based on their financial status, because the last report showed that the churches have more than $2 billion in account. And they have vast acreage of lands. They can apply against that. And don't dip into what you have that is there for contributors.
The Jamaican National Housing Trust, NHT, was established as a workers' institution. Its core purpose is to serve Jamaican contributors who have paid into the system through payroll deductions. For decades, the logic has been simple. People contribute while they work, and in return, they gain access to housing benefits, loans, and grants. That social contract is what gives the NHT its moral and legal legitimacy. The concern raised by the Member of Parliament, Everald Warmington, was not emotional or abstract. It was practical and grounded in lived reality. Warmington pointed out that many poor contributors who have paid into the NHT for years are being told they cannot qualify for loans because they do not have enough points, sufficient income, or the right documentation. At the same time, churches, which do not contribute to the NHT, are being granted access to disaster-related financing. His central question was simple and powerful. How can an institution that has never contributed a dollar to the NHT be treated ahead of contributors who have paid into the system all their working lives?
You wanted a follow-up,
Yeah.
Mr. Warmington?
Yeah, Mr. Miller mentioned the issue that only contributors can apply for assistance for reconstruction and development as such, the hurricane damage. You're saying only contributors?
Or their immediate families?
Contributors or the immediate. Then I'm curious then. The church is not a contributor. So on what basis, how would you assess their application for loans and understand they're supposed to apply to housing trust for loans? And if they are not contributors, how do you assess them and approve such application when you are telling us now that only contributors can apply? In what category? How do you assess that? Don't dip into what contributors. You have one church in Spanish Town, the Philip Baptist Church. The last financial report showed they have more than $70 million in their account. One single Baptist church in Spanish Town, Philip Baptist Church. So what I'm saying, you have poor contributors applying to you, they can't get it, but then the church just walk in over there and get it. I'm saying that what needs to be done now, your board needs to change the rule that every contributor should be able to walk through the doors of housing trust to apply for loan without any assessment of qualification if the church can do it without being qualified, based on the records that you now have. So the point system must be eliminated now to justify what you're doing.
Mr. Chairman, can I respond?
Yes, you can respond.
If we were to look at the facilities that are in place to treat with this initiative as it relates to Minister recovery, one of the first things that was made clear is that there are certain contribution requirements that would be relaxed for the individual. So for example, one requirement is that your contribution ought to be current. It was made clear. And it was
your contribution ought to be?
Current. Meaning,
current,
yes.
Okay.
It was made clear that that would be relaxed. So then we get back to the whole issue. Once you're an NHT contributor, you are qualified for a loan. The issue that we tend to miss is the amount of loan that you are qualified for. It may not necessarily be sufficient to do what you want to do. But any contributor who walks into NHT now, they are qualified for a loan. The only question is the amount. Any contributor that is current, but under the Melissa relief, you can we relax the section to treat with you being current. And
right.
That's the reason why we were able to say, once you have contributed to the National Housing Trust, then you can benefit.
Okay, we understand that though, but I think it's a different point. I think it's a different point Mr. Warmington is making. And but before you follow up, though, what is I'm trying to understand myself because I think Mr. Warmington caught up news release that I didn't. What is the provision that the NHT has under this Melissa recovery for churches?
What we have, Mr. Chairman, is the facility that allows the church to apply for a loan. We look at their cash flow requirements that they would have submitted along with other people to see how they can service this loan.
And this is a loan to repair the church?
This is a loan to repair, to assist in terms of the replacement of the roofs.
Of the church, as opposed to a residence?
Right.
Okay.
But if I may.
I just wanted to get clear in my own understanding.
Yes.
But go ahead, you wanted to make something?
But if I may, and sometimes when we talk about getting back the life of Jamaicans to a point where they are reasonably comfortable, for most of us, Mr. Chairman, and I know that you are aware of life in rural Jamaica, the church is a very, very important part of what? Remember I was talking about.
When the NHT representative, Mr. Miller, responded, his justification rested on 3 points. First point, churches are treated as institutions. He explained that churches are not accessing grants, but loans under an institutional lending framework that already exists within the NHT. Second point, loans are based on financial capacity, not contribution. For institutions like churches, approval is based on cash flow assets, land ownership, ability to service debt, not on whether they are contributors. And third point, the disaster response widened access rules. Mr. Miller also noted that under Hurricane Melissa relief measures, some contribution requirements were relaxed even for individuals, allowing former contributors or family members of contributors to access assistance. But this justification unintentionally reinforced Warmington's concern, because if churches qualify because they have money, land, and financial stability, while contributors are rejected because they lack financial strength, then the system is effectively favoring institutions that already have resources over citizens who have none. That is the contradiction at the heart of the exchange. Warmington was not saying churches should not exist or be repaired. He was saying, why are public housing funds, built from workers' wages, being used to support wealthy institutions while workers themselves remain without roofs?
Okay.
Mr. Warmington.
I know the importance of the church and the part the church plays. No, they can't pray for me. They're not qualified enough. I go to my church and part of my church. I do not pray at my church in my home. I don't know. Some of those who pray for you, they don't cross, and you don't pray for you properly. I'm saying I know the importance. So too are the Citizen Association, Kiwanis Club, Lions Club, and all of those. Okay? What I'm saying, you said the church can walk in alone because of institutional what have you. Can the Kiwanis Club? Can the Lions Club? Can the Citizen Association? Because special provision and standard made for the church. So can we include these to pay the community center? The Lions Club, the Friendly Society, also, they want to do what?
Mr. Chairman.
So I'm asking Mr. Miller.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, no, you finish, Mr. Warmington.
No, I'm asking, you see, I'm not satisfied. I want to know about the other institutions out there.
So
this is only church. I know the importance of the church. Because I give to the church, you see, I give to the church. I take care of my church. I pay the entire roof. I put in all the windows, doors, and so on. No, I have my church and go for my boy. So I'm saying I know the importance. Okay? But when a church have over 70 million in its account, well, you can provide for them. most of these churches run as, I'm not talking about the established churches, Baptist, Presbyterian, Anglican, but you have some little come up wayside and you have somebody they have this big elaborate building there and every day you have to carry this and 5 collection a day or offering per day you have to give in the church. And when passing birthday, 5th Sunday you have to give extra one. And past birthday you have to give extra. Those that come to church and that's what established churches. So not the issue. So what I'm saying, members of the church have been giving all the while. And the churches that have more than $2 billion in their account, it's time for them to give back to assist the poor persons who have been giving them over the years to rebuild. I don't think that's happening. Plus, we have a lot of individuals who have little businesses and shops and so on that damage and blow down.
But
this is the time when the church has to step up and assist these individuals to restart their small businesses. Okay? To start their business and so on, but not to dip in the government pool to repair the church. They have enough money to do it. And Mr. Clark, I don't understand. I want you to take me on, you know. I know about the church more than you do. So don't take me on this. You can't convince me. I know what I'm talking.
Warmington went further and raised a broader equity question. If churches qualify as institutions, why not community centers, citizens associations, Lions clubs, youth clubs, small business groups? Once the door is open to institutional access, the purpose of the NHT shifts from being a worker-centered housing fund to a general disaster financing agency. That is not what Parliament designed it to be. Factually, based on the exchange, the NHT rules currently allow institutional loans. Churches are being treated as eligible institutional borrowers. These are loans, not grants. Approval is based on financial strength, not contribution history, but the ethical question raised remains unresolved. Should an institution funded by workers' contributions prioritize institutions that already have money over contributors who have none? The narrative therefore becomes one of quiet injustice rather than loud corruption. Not the church is wrong, but rather the poor contributor is being displaced. Not the NHT is breaking the law, but the spirit of the law is being stretched. And that is why the exchange matters, because it forces us to ask, who was the NHT truly built for? Should disaster relief rewrite its moral priorities? When resources are limited, who should stand first in line? Institutions with assets, or Jamaicans without shelter? Warmington was not attacking faith. He was defending fairness of the system. What do you think about all of this? In a disaster, should fairness shift toward the weakest, not toward those who already have? And if the NHT is not for the poorest contributors in their worst moment, then who is it really for? Please share your thoughts.